The seasons, the habits of the creatures, the function of the universe itself all confirm that life as we know it is cyclical. As wise Solomon said, there is nothing new under the sun. History tends to repeat itself, and as the old saying goes, what goes around comes around. I believe God put in each of us a homing device, the place we walk away from. Often in a rebellious search for a shortcut is usually the very spot we eventually long for. The people that try in vain to teach us the important truths are usually the people who are there to welcome us back after we run away to do it my way. The psalmist said it so well, I can never run away from my God. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the places of death, you are there. If I ride the morning winds to the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me and your strength support me. I'm sitting here where Elijah once stood, refuting the prophets of Baal. The children of Israel had once again run away from the demands of their God, enticed by the false prophets of Baal. But their rebellion was spent, and afterward, God was waiting there for their return.
What an amazing experience to visit Herod's temple in the Old City and to walk the southern steps, the stairway leading to the main entrance of the temple. Discovered in archaeological digs begun less than 40 years ago, it's a stunning piece of history brought back to life.
This must have been a bittersweet place for Jesus. It was here at the temple that his parents found him talking with the great teachers when he was only 12. It was here he first stood up to read the scriptures prophesying the coming of the Messiah, then added, "This day the scripture is fulfilled in your ears." Here in this temple area, he answered the accusations that he was a demon and ended by saying, "Before Abraham was, I am." He disappeared before his accusers could stone him. It was here he drove the money changers from the temple because his father's house had been made into a den of thieves. It was from here, as he passed along, that he met the man blind from birth, and those who hoped to trap him asked, "Who sinned, teacher, this man or his parents?" "Neither," he answered, "but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life." After smearing mud on the blind man's eyes made from this dirt and his own saliva, he told the man to go bathe in the pool of Siloam, and immediately the man could see. Then the speculation really began to fly. They questioned the man. They questioned his parents. The parents sent the Pharisees back to the man again. "He is of age," they said. "Ask him." Again they found the healed man and questioned him, accusing Jesus of being a sinner because he had healed on the Sabbath. Finally, the healed man, in exasperation, replied, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know. One thing I do know, I was blind and now I see."
Jesus loved the high places and went often to this hillside. It was here he taught his disciples a revolutionary new way to live. The words we have come to know as the Beatitudes still challenge our value systems every day. No wonder the crowds followed him. He blessed the poor. He said it was the powerless who will actually win. He said we should not try to get even, but to love those who hate us and forgive those who hurt us. He said if we are worn out with the competitions and burdens of our day, we should rest in him. Some places we know so well from Scripture practically beg to be spoken in whispered tones. Gethsemane. It's just a simple olive grove on the side of a rocky hill with a Mount of Olives above it and the eastern gate just a stone's throw away. But the significance of Gethsemane is so much more than its humble appearance might indicate.
If they could speak, these gnarled olive trees could tell us the detail the writers of the Gospels left out in their account of that night. One of these trees no doubt supported the weight of a man too weak and spent to stand as he struggled with what he knew lay at the bottom of the cup he had to drink. Which rocks here absorbed his tears? Which of these trees, which stones, pillowed the heads of the dozing disciples who were too exhausted to keep the most important watch ever commissioned on earth? This place makes the night that is different from other nights so personal. Yet probably none of us have a clue to what this place has to teach us about enduring and carrying out the Gethsemanes of our own lives.
How many familiar stories of the Bible are set at the placid Jordan River? An axe head floated there. Joshua led the Israelites through it. Jesus came to the Jordan to be baptized by John. It has a sense of home about it.
How poignant the words of Psalms 137. By the rivers of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. There on the poplars we hung our harps, for our captors asked us for songs. Our tormentors demanded songs of joy. They said, "Sing us one of the songs of Zion." How can we sing the songs of Zion in a strange land? But captivity can't steal identity. Abba Eban once wrote, "There were many Babylons in Jewish history, but Zion always beckoned through the tears." And for all of us, the songs of home will never be sung as they were intended until we all get home.
How can I love this place so much and yet not worship the place? How can I love the Word that He was and not worship the words themselves that carried such eternal truths? How can I, as He Himself said, be in this world but not of it? No one reminded us more than Jesus that we are pilgrims, sojourners in search of a better land, even better than this He loved so much. Here a parade began of restless pilgrims wandering from this place across times and places, looking for a place, the place, where their souls would finally be at rest.
In Jesus' day, Nazareth was a town of little repute. Today it is the political and economic capital of Galilee, a busy city where ancient and modern architecture exists side by side. But you step off the beaten path and walk down a dusty road lined with old fig trees, and your imagination can easily transport you back through time.
Men rose to tend their fields and vineyards, and women nursed their babies and began their daily bread before going about their chores or making a trip to the market. Children finished their breakfast and went out to play in the courtyard, or off to begin their day learning from the rabbi who would teach them that someday a Messiah would come to break the tyranny and even the playing field. In that day, the deaf will hear the words of the scroll the prophet had promised, and all of gloom and darkness the eyes of its blind would see. Once more, its humble would rejoice in the Lord, and the needy would rejoice in the Holy One of Israel.
You know, there's a little difference of opinion just where the tomb owned by Joseph of Arimathea was located. We took our cast to the place outside the walls of the old city, just to the north of the Damascus Gate, where many Protestant scholars believe Jesus was buried and rose again. What a sobering yet inspiring place to stand and imagine what it must have been like to be there early one Sunday morning, nearly 2,000 years ago.